This video is going to cover the Access Chapter 1 Pause and Practice. This first set of instructions, 1-1, has you open up the College of Science classes database. When you open an Excel file, it's really important that you understand there will be an additional access file. There will be an additional access file that pops up. One is locked and it has a 0 or 1 kilobyte in size, and the other one is open. So one's a temporary file, this locked one, and it should never be uploaded. There isn't anything in it. It's basically a temporary file that possibly one or more employees is out working in until it's saved, and then it is only going to be the original file. So never upload a locked file. That file will always be a blank file that gets uploaded. So this College of Sciences classes database is just basically here for you to kind of listen and not take any action on. It shows you how to open and close this navigation pane using the shutter bar option here. You can also use a two-headed arrow to make it smaller or larger. This database has multiple objects in it, 6 to be exact. All of those objects right now are being organized by object type. We have a table, and so you can open up your classes table to see that. And you have a query, a form, and a report. To go through your classes table, you can click on the record selectors. These are different records that are in this table, and then these are fields that are in the table. Each one of these columns are actually called fields in Access. You still have your same ribbon up top as well as all of your different tabs that are on your ribbon, and then you have different groups inside of your tabs, and then you have your quick access toolbar in the upper left corner. If you wanted to search something inside of an object, you would use this search box down here. If you were searching for something in your navigation pane, you would use this search box here. Inside a table, we have 2 different views. If you go to the lower right-hand corner, you can see Datasheet view, and you can also see Design view. On your Home tab, you also have the option to change from Design view to Datasheet view as well. You will be going back and forth between the views, and you have to save it before it will let you go back and forth between the views if you've made any changes. So a lot of different things to kind of take in there and kind of get familiar with. So we're going to close out of this Colleges of Sciences database, and we're just going to go ahead and scroll down through all the way to 1-2, where we're going to go ahead and start with a blank database. So you're going to type in Access. Again, if you have a Mac operating system, you will not have Access software. So you will need to find a different personal computer for these 3 chapters. And once Access opens up, it's going to ask us to save it right off the bat and make sure that we save it in a location where we know where we're saving it to. So we're going to go ahead and save it hopefully in that folder that you saved from the beginning of class, and we're going to put it on our Access Chapter 1 folder. So I'm going to click Blank Database here, and then this is the Browse button to figure out exactly where you're going to be saving it to. So I'm going to click on that Browse button. I'm navigating again to my desktop, my IT122 student data files, Access Chapter 1, and I'm going to type in my initials, space PP, space A1-4. Don't worry about that B file, you won't have that. That was just a practice file that I was using for this assignment. We're going to go ahead and hit OK, and we're doing 1-4 because that's the final set of directions for this particular project, and we don't want to need to save as each time because the saving process is a little bit different in Access. I'm going to go ahead and hit Create, and we save objects throughout Access. There's a Table 1 that defaultly pops up, and each object then is saved in this entire database. All right. One of our first steps is to start working with this table that defaultly popped up in our database. We have to choose a ID. We have to choose a primary key for this table, and this is hopefully something that you read about in the sim book. Your ID field in this instance is going to become the primary key, and it's going to have EMP ID as its actual ID field name. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the entire database again, so that fills up my window. And I'm going to double click in this ID field. We're going to type in EMPID with a capital I, capital D, no spaces, and go ahead and hit enter. I'm in this data sheet view and I'm making these changes. I can see in this data sheet view, if I click on EMPID and I go to table fields, that this is already checked here, this unique identifier, indicating that this is the primary key. And I'll show you what this looks like in design view. But we're also going to change this data type to what's called a short text. We don't want an automated number to pop up, so we're going to choose short text, and the field size of this is going to be 5 because we don't want any more characters in this field allowed unless it's under 5 or under. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and then we're going to click name and caption. Now we already have the name typed in, and then their caption is actually what's going to take precedence. So we're going to type in employee ID with a space, and then our description here is going to be unique employee identification number. And we're going to go ahead and hit OK. So we've made some changes to this field in what's called data sheet view. Now, to create the other fields across the top here, we are going to go into design view so we can see things just a little bit easier in design view. But in order to get into design view, we have to save this table first. So I'm going to hit Control S, and it's going to launch this dialog box and asks me for my table name. I'm going to type in employees. And then we're going to go over to design view. So you can click this option here on your ribbon, or you can go to the lower right hand corner of your screen and you can click design view. So you can see here in design view, you can make those same changes that you did in data sheet view. We have the primary key that's assigned here. We have the field name. We have the caption that takes precedent in data sheet view. And we also have a field size of 5 with a short text data type and our description. We're going to continue with the directions, and we're going to start typing in all of the different field names. It starts with 3C. We're going to type in first name. It's going to have a short text data type, and there aren't going to be any spaces. So we're going to type in first name. We're going to hit the down arrow, and we're going to type in the rest of these field names here. After you've typed them all out, double check it for any spelling errors. Make sure that you have no spaces in first name and last name and start date and base monthly salary. And then we're also going to change the data type for start date in the drop-down menu to date and time data type. And we're also going to change the data type for base monthly salary to be currency. After you've typed in each one of the field names, and you have the correct data type for each one, we're going to format some of the fields. So if you scroll down to number 5, it talks about the description and caption for first name as well as a field size. So the field size gets changed down here in the bottom. If it has a field size of NA, you're not changing anything, and if there is no caption, you're just not doing anything with that either. So we're going to click in first name, and we're going to go down to caption. We're going to type in first space name, and we're going to change the field size to 25. And then we are going to click where it says description, and we're going to type in employee's first name. I'm just going to hit the down arrow, and I'm going to type in employee's last name, and the down arrow for the description for branch assigned to, and then current job title. Department assigned to, date employment started, These are really nice because they provide a description to any new user who's using the database as to what exactly this field name is for. From here, we want to make sure that we go ahead and type in our captions and field sizes. So I'm going to start with last name, and we're going to go down here and look. We have last name's a field size of 25, and then the caption is last space name. So I'm going to take out 255, put in 25 in my caption, and then I'm going to go to start date. Actually, let's go to branch, and we're going to change the field size to 30 and then 40, 40. So branch is going to be 30. Title is going to be 40. Department is going to be 40. Then start date, we're not changing anything with the field size for start date. We are just going to type in the caption here. Start space date. And then we're going to click base monthly salary. In the caption, we're going to type in base monthly salary. And then we are going to move on to data sheet view. So I would check through this, double check, make sure that you have everything typed in correctly, make sure you have all the field sizes, the descriptions, and then we're going to save it. And we are getting into, so you're going to hit save, and then we're going to get into data sheet view. We're going to start typing left to right, and I would hit tab or your arrow key, probably tab, to type in each different part for each record. So you're going to take your time. I'll show you how to type in the first record, and then I'm going to type in the rest of them. So we're going to start with employee 101, Jamie for the first name. Last name is Benedict. Branch is Cameron Park. Chief Executive Officer. Department is going to be administration. Start date is 1/1/2020, and then 12,000 for the base monthly salary. So it will automatically format your start date, and your base monthly salary is going to be formatted to currency. I'm going to hit tab after I type in 12,000 because again, those are the different data types that we have assigned to those two fields. You're going to go ahead and type out the rest of these. We have 102, 103, 104, 105, or 115. And what we're doing is we are not able to see some of the title, some of the department maybe even, and you can't see the whole base monthly salary. So if you click right above employee ID and drag across, you can double click on this pink line here with that two-headed arrow, and you're able to stretch that out, and it'll auto fit each column to the widest entry within that column. You don't have to do it all columns at the same time. You can do just one column at a time. So we can click just one column and double click, but it's sometimes easier just to do the entire sheet. You also want to make sure that you don't have any spelling errors anywhere. We are going to run a couple of searches later, and if you spell something incorrectly, then it won't pop up in the search. So double check everything, make sure everything's spelled correctly, make sure you have your capital letters in there correctly. And if you need that chart, it is going to be number 6K. It has that table there for you. From there, we are going to close out of the table, and we're moving on to 1-3. So 1-3 has you start off by importing some data that's already saved in an Excel sheet into this current sheet here. Instead of typing out a bunch of different records, we've only had to type out 5. So we're going to hit save here, and before you can import it, it has to be closed out, this table. So we're going to close out of the table, and again, we're still in the database. We're going to go up to the External Data tab, New Data Source, From File, and you're going to click on Excel because we are importing this Excel sheet. Make sure you're in the Import and Link group here. In this Get External Data Excel spreadsheet window, we are going to hit Browse, and we're going to navigate to that Access Chapter 1 folder. You're looking for the Central Sierra file. That should pop up. And then we're going to append a copy of the records to the table that already exists. So once we double click on that file, we're going to click this second option here, and then we're going to hit OK. That we are adding it to the employees table. And then we're going to look at all the records that are getting ready to be imported. We're going to hit Next, Finish, and Close. You can go ahead and double click your employees table. You'll see all of those employees that have been imported. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and hit save. Make sure that we've saved our table. And we're going to be down on number 5. It just wants us to practice navigating through this data sheet a little bit. And then we're going to change the field order on 6. So we're clicking down here, we're hitting next record, you can hit last record, you can hit first record, you can hit previous record, you can click in here and type in 7. It'll take you to record 7. And then we're going to look at number 6 to change the field order. We're going to click on the title field and we're going to drag and hold it so that it's to the left of branch. So we're going to click on title, drag to the left of branch. So we're reordering these fields that are here. From there, we are going to move the start column so it's to the right of the base monthly salary column. So we're going to click on our start date and we're going to drag it to the right of our base monthly salary. So now we've reordered these columns. From there, it wants us to change a couple of formatting on here, a little bit of formatting. So we're going to change the font to Arial, and we're going to change the font size to 12, and we're going to change the row height to 17. So we're going to select the entire sheet with the arrow in the top left corner here. And on the Home tab, we're going to look for Arial, and we're going to change the font size to 12. And then we're going to left click one of your row selectors, then right click a row selector and go to row height. And I think I said we were changing this to 17. After you hit OK, I would go ahead and select employee ID all the way across and then auto fit your columns one more time so that it's stretched out and you can see everything. And that was 9C. Then it wants you to point your pointer over base monthly salary column, and we're going to change the field width to 11. So I'm going to click on base monthly salary, right click, change the field width. We're taking it down from 23 all the way to 11, and it wants us basically just to acknowledge that these hashtag symbols or pound symbols are the same as what was in Excel. So this just means that the column width is not wide enough. So we're just going to go ahead and auto fit that back out. And then we're going to center up a couple of columns, and we are going to go to employee ID to center it up. And then we're going to hide the branch column. So we're going to click on employee ID and we're going to hit center. And then we're going to left click on branch, right click on branch, and hide that field. So we have centered up a column and hidden a field. On 13, it wants us to add a totals row. And we're going to choose a sum function for the base monthly salary. So we're going to click up here where it says totals. It's going to add it right down here at the bottom. and we're going to click on base monthly salary, and in the drop down menu here we're just going to choose sum. I think mine's just a little bit off. From the total. So I'm going to take a look at that. 1 second. So my total should be 101,000. I have, it looks like Jamie, I put in 12,000. It should be 15,000 up here. So I'm not sure where that typo came in, but you may want to change that if you do have 15,000, so that way the numbers will match what they're supposed to with the directions. The next editing move is going to be to change the grid lines a bit. So we are going to be on 14, and we're going to click the text formatting launcher, and the datasheet formatting dialog box will pop up, and we're going to change the color of our alternate row color, and we're going to change the color of our grid lines, and then we're going to uncheck the horizontal grid lines. So let's go ahead and select the entire thing here. Click that arrow, and we're going to click the arrow here for the text formatting dialog box, and we're going to uncheck horizontal so only the vertical is checked, and we're changing the alternate background color to blue accent 1 lighter 80%, and we're going to change the grid line color to blue accent 1 darker 25%. So we just changed those three things. We unchecked horizontal, changed the alternate background color and the grid line color. We're going to go ahead and hit OK, and then you can click in your sheet to kind of see what it looks like. And then from there, we're going to hit Control S, and we're going to be on 1-4. Or you can hit Save. 1-4 starts off with unhiding the field. So we're going to go up to this More option in our records, and we're going to hit Unhide Fields, and we're going to check the box for branch and hit OK so that our branch field is back. Then we're going to search for Health and Folsom down in our search bar down here. Searched for Health. Now we're searching for Folsom. You can hit Enter to go through them. And then we're going to take out Folsom, and we're going to use our Find option up here, and we are going to search for Insurance. And we're not going to make any other changes here. I think insurance needs to be capitalized. Let me double check here. I think it is looking at this row. Let's do, it's only looking in this row. So I'm just going to hit cancel and click somewhere up here maybe, or even just make sure I'm clicked in a cell and not an entire row. And we'll try to find that again, and then you will be able to find the next for insurance. But if you're in an entire row and you find, it's only going to be looking in just that row or that record. After that, we are going to look at a couple of different sort options. So we're going to be on number 9, and we're going to sort the data sheet on a single field using the drop-down list. So we're going to look in start date, and we're going to sort newest to oldest. So in the drop-down menu here, we can sort newest to oldest. Then it practices us removing that sort. So in our sort and filter group here, we're going to hit remove sort. Then on number 10, it asks us to click and hold the pointer over the branch field. And we are looking for it to be in a descending order. So we're going to do Z to A. And then again, we remove the sort. So we're just practicing sorting and removing. Then on number 11, it asks us to click after insurance agent in 103. And we are going to go up to the selection option, and we are doing equals insurance agent. So that way it filters to only the insurance agents. And then also in 13, also in 11, we are going to clear the filter from the title. So we're going to click title here in the drop down and just hit clear filter from the title. Number 12, we are going to click the drop down menu to the right of title field again, and we are going to uncheck select all. And this time we are looking for insurance agent, and you're going to hit OK. And then we are doing, yes, insurance agent. Sorry, I had skipped over 12. We'll go back on this. This is getting a little muddy because there's a lot of sorting that we do and then we just undo it. So let's stick with the insurance agent and that select all drop down, and then we're going to go to branch, and then we are looking for Cameron Park. So we are adding 2 sorts to a specific area to get just 2 results. We go up to advanced here, and then we hit clear all filters, and then we'll go back and we're going to look at number 12, which basically has us do a text filter on the title. So if we go to text filters here, we can do contains, and then we type in the word assistant and we hit OK, and then anything that has the word assistant in it is returned. And you can also hit toggle filter to put the old results back or go back to the filter. Again, I'm going to hit advanced and hit clear all filters. From there, that's it. So you're going to go ahead and submit 1-4 then to the Dropbox in SimNet. We're just saving this object here to do that. So you just hit save. You can close out of the table, which is one of the objects in your database, close out of your database, and then you will log into SimNet if you aren't already logged in, and then get to the correct assignment and then upload it.